Hey, what's up guys? It's me, Angela Kiesenbing with Angela Grace Events, and I believe every day is a reason to celebrate. And we are always talking about event tips and tools to help you create a successful, memorable, and profitable event. All right, so we are back with our series on event sponsorship, and we've gone through a whole bunch of tips. If you haven't seen the previous videos or the video where we talk about the benefits, please make sure you go back and watch those videos. I'll put them in the link below. So just to recap really quickly, we have gone through the benefits, and there are so many benefits for both the event and the sponsor or the brands and the businesses themselves who actually collaborate and make sure that they are supporting these different types of events. So there's that building rapport, you're getting in touch with your ideal client and customer. That's for the brands and the businesses, but also as an event host, you can get some of your events funded and by these different sponsors, and you can also get more value added by what they have to offer. Number one is, of course, to make a list. And when you make a list, you're wanting to start with the people that you know first. You want to start with those warm leads, people that you already have a relationship with, and then kind of go out and branch out to the other brands that you feel are going to really make that connection or be in alignment with what you're offering your attendees. Number two is ask. Get out there and start that conversation. Start collecting information for who the decision maker is. Start talking to your friends and again, those people that you already know who you have a relationship with about the idea of, you know, what your event is and what kind of sponsorship opportunities are available, and just get out there and ask, because when we don't ask, we don't know. And number three, write a letter, write that email, and get that conversation started even deeper take it to the next level, and start sharing, start sharing all of the amazing things that you have to offer and why you think that this other brand is going to be a good fit. Number four, make sure you are sending out your proposal or your sponsorship deck. We talked a lot about that in the previous video, where what that's going to look like. Okay, so make sure you watch that video, and it's going to be very brief information, very visually appealing, concise and straight to the point, and you want to make sure you send that to the decision maker as soon as possible. And going into tip number number 5 and number 6 now, we are getting really close to locking in and securing that event sponsorship, right? We've built rapport, we've connected with them, we've kind of maybe thought about some creative ideas and things that could work. And number 5, you guys, we want to make sure we follow up and follow through. I don't know how many times people just miss opportunities or leave money on the table because they do not follow up. Make sure you're keeping a good system about who you're reaching out to, when you've reached out to them, and any notes that are pertinent to whatever you want to make things happen, right? So following up and following through, make sure you're getting them at the right time. So if you have an event in the next year, make sure you already start reaching out. That's not too soon, because you want to build rapport. You want to build a relationship and just start talking about what are some of these things, what are some of the ways that we can work together. I really believe that your brand aligns with who is coming to my event. And, it's all about making a win-win situation, right? Following through, again, answering questions. Be prepared to answer questions. Again, be flexible and make sure that you are providing as much information to the brands and businesses that you are reaching out to and talking to, so that they have enough information to make a great decision. And hopefully that decision is to work with you. Again, build rapport. I can't say this enough. Make sure you are constantly, following up, but not just about your event. Make sure you know who these people are. Make sure you know and understand what their goals and what their values are, because you also want to cater to them. They are also a part of your event. And then again, just really follow up. If you send a proposal out and you don't hear from them for about 5 days, you know what? Pick up the phone, shoot them an email and say, hey, I sent this over to you couple days ago. I want to see if you were able to take a look at it and let me know what you think, right? And when you have that call initially, before you send out the email, I encourage you guys to set up a follow-up call so that they kind of have that have that urgency, right? They will need to review your information before you get back on that call. So be proactive, guys, and follow up, and just make sure that you're doing everything you can to support the sponsor or potential sponsor while keeping track of everything that you need to. And then hopefully closing that sale or closing that sponsorship, if you will. And number 6, activate. So after you followed up and they said, yes, we want to be a part of your event, this is just going to be an amazing opportunity for us to get in front of the right people. Here's, a check, or here's what we're going to do. Make sure you start activating. So whatever you had promised in your agreement. So after the proposal and the follow through, you want to make sure you have an agreement, and it's going to lay out everything that you're going to offer and everything that the other party is going to offer, right? It's very important to have that, just because, we just want to make sure that your bases are covered. So do what you promised. If you said that you're going to start promoting them right away, you better start plugging them into your content calendar, right? Gather all the info that you need from them, whether it's their website, all of their social media handles, their headshots if they're speaking, or their logo if they're a sponsor. There's so many different assets that you can collect, and it really just depends on what you agreed upon with the sponsor to highlight them, if you will, to feature them. How are you going to promote them before, during, and after the event? Because it's important to do that, guys. And then going back, I'm going to take it a step further, because when you gather info, it can be tricky, and you can be waiting. You could be bottlenecked because, you might say, I'm going to start promoting you guys in the next 2 weeks, but then you're like chasing after the information, and you don't want that. So one of the things that I've done with my clients, and I'll give you a pro tip, is to create a speaker sponsor hub. So if you are working with sponsors specifically, again, this works for speakers as well, you create a hub, basically like a hidden page on your website, and you share, or it could be like a Google folder, something where all the information that you need from them or want from them is going to be stored, and vice versa. Anything that you want them to share can be there too, so they can grab it. And that could be promo graphics, it could be their badges, like their digital badges, any key messages that they could just copy paste and share on their networks, but also tweak to be able to sound like them, right? And so what I suggest, another pro tip here, is that when you are collecting information, that you have a fillable form for them to just say, hey, here's my name, here's my company, here's the bio, here's what we are, here's what we do, here's our logo and our headshots. All of this is to ensure that you are getting all of the information that you need right at the beginning, so that you are successful in your promotion and your planning. And speaking of planning, I have my notes here. You want to make sure that you work all of these sponsors and all of the things that you've promised into your planning timeline, whether it's an Excel spreadsheet, or some your marketing team can put something together just for all of your sponsors, or really incorporate it into what you're already doing for your business and your event. I use Excel sometimes, and that's pretty much standard, right? Excel or Google Sheets is a very easy way to start keeping track of things, right? The other thing that I love to use is ClickUp, and it's a really cool, easy tool. There's a free version, there's a paid version, and it's really great at keeping track of tasks and helping your team stay on track during the planning stages. So that's it, guys. Those are the 2 tips that I have for you today. Again, it's to follow up and follow through. Make sure you're making those connections and you're touching, you have those touch points, if you will, with your contact for that brand or business, so that you're building rapport and that you are following up and making sure that they read your information and then make that decision. And once they do, you have an agreement ready to go, and you lay out all the things that you're going to do and all of the things that they're going to do, and get that signed, obviously, to, again, just make sure that all bases are covered. And then finally, activation. Make sure you activate all the things that you promised, and just get that going. Introduce them to your attendees, introduce them on social media, be really excited and get creative on how you can feature your sponsors, because the more you feature them, the more they're going to feature you, and they're going to be willing to come back and do this event with you again. So again, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to let me know. I want to give you some information about another workshop that we're hosting. It's event sponsorship workshop. So you're going to be able to dive in deeper in all of these tips and topics that I'm sharing with you guys. It is on March 20th at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I believe I've been saying 1 o'clock because the last workshop we had was at 1 o'clock and it's at 11. Forgive me for that. So I would love for you guys to come. We'll talk and go through not just the benefits, but building that rapport and going through all of these different steps to make sure that you are successful in connecting and securing those sponsorships, which are going to add so much value to your event, to your attendees, and then in turn, you're going to build these awesome relationships with different brands and businesses for future opportunities to collaborate. So, all right, that is it. Follow me on Instagram and on Facebook at Angela Grace Events, and feel free to join our private group, Event Planning for Entrepreneurs, if you want to dig a little bit more deeper every day into event planning and entrepreneurship. All right, guys, I will talk to you guys later. Have a good one, and make sure every day is a reason to celebrate. Bye.